12 Homestead. Today we are going to make a homemade chocolate pie. From the pie pan up, we're making a from scratch pie crust. We're going to make homemade chocolate pie filling, and we're going to top it off with some of that good old meringue frosting. So the recipe that I'm going to use today is out of my Betty Crocker book. It's flour, oil, water, salt, and then we're going to roll it out between a couple of pieces of wax paper, get it in our pie shell. We're going to put that pie shell in our oven, 475 degrees. We're going to bake it for about 8 to 10 minutes. Got my oven preheating right now, so let's get busy and get the ingredients in. So what we're going to do is, it's a cup of all-purpose flour. I have washed my hands, so just so you all know, we got our cup of flour in there, and we're going to put our half a teaspoon of salt in. We're just going to give that a little whisk around, get that mixed in. Then we need 1/3 of a cup of oil. Then we're going to mix that around. And then we're going to add 2 to 3 tablespoons of cold water to our mixture. We're just going to get this incorporated. And then it tells us, once we've got it all incorporated, we're going to put it between 2 pieces of waxed paper, and we're going to roll it out about 1 inch or 2 bigger than our pie pan. We're just doing for one crust. And all right, we're going to start out with just 1 teaspoon of cold water at a time. It tells us if it seems dry, don't add any more water to it. You add oil is what it tells me to do. So we're going to try that today. See how this pie crust comes out. You know, it won't be long before Thanksgiving will be here, and we'll all be busy baking pies, and I figured get in practice. I haven't made a pie crust in quite a while, so we're going to try it out here. Make us a good old homemade chocolate pie. All right, I don't think that I'm going to need any more water. It says 2 to 3, and this is pretty moist. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear my space here. I'm going to pull me off some wax paper, and we're going to come back and we're going to roll it out to about the size we're going to need. Okay, you guys, we got that dough all mixed up. We're just going to gather it around. We're going to get it into a nice little ball or a disc, whatever you want to call it. We're going to form it into a nice round disc, about like that. And we're just going to put that in the center of our wax paper. And we're going to cover this over, and we're going to roll this out. I'm just going to turn it about after every roll. It should just slide right off of this wax paper. And with it being an oil pie crust, I'm thinking it's going to be good and moist. It won't be a hard pie crust. And with it being on this wax paper, it's going to be easy to just peel the top layer off and then lay it right into our pie pan. So we're just going to roll it out to about the size we think we need. I'm thinking we're getting pretty close to being there. One way you can check, take your pie pan, turn it upside down. We might want to make that a little bit bigger because we've got to take into consideration the depth of our pie pan. This recipe, like I said, come out of the Betty Crocker cookbook that I've had forever. I'm nowhere near a professional baker, y'all, and this is a really this has been something for me to attempt pie crust, but you know what? I've got to learn. That's all there is to it. I've just got to learn. So y'all are going to watch me attempt to do homemade pie crust here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm just going to invert it right on top of our pie pan. Be very gentle. Got it a little thin on the sides. We're going to get it off here. All right, y'all, we're about to get that pie crust. I shouldn't have spoke too soon about how easy this was going to be. All right, y'all, technical difficulties. I am not a pie crust maker, and I should keep trying different recipes, but we're going to make it work, by golly. It's not the prettiest pie crust, and I got it thin in some places, and in places it's wanting to crack a little bit, but you know what? I bet my husband doesn't say one thing about it while we're eating a piece of chocolate pie, and if he does, I'm just going to reach over and I'm going to punch him. All right, we're going to call that good. It's not pretty, but it'll hold some chocolate cream in there. Now we're going to poke some holes in this because, like I said, we are doing a cream pie filling, and we're going to pre-bake it before we put our filling in. You want to make sure you get all the way around. We just got some, I'm going to put some on the sides too, just to make sure that we've got a place to let all that air escape. So good enough. All right, y'all, it's not pretty, but it is a pie crust, and we're going to put that thing in to bake. We've got our oven already preheated at 475 degrees, and we're going to watch that for about 8 to 10 minutes. Pull it out. We're going to let it cool, but in the meantime, we're going to start with our chocolate pie filling. So we're going to put this in and let it get to baking. Okay, you guys, we got that pie crust out of the oven. We've got it cooling. So now we're going to get on to the baking of the pie filling. All right. So what we're going to do is make the homemade chocolate pie filling. We're going to start out with 1.5 cups of sugar. We've got 1/3 of a cup of cornstarch. We're going to try to get all that out of our bowl here. Of course, it wants to stick. And that may be just what we need to get it to thicken. So we don't want to leave it in there. But that's 1/3 of a cup of cornstarch. And we got 1/2 teaspoon of salt. We're just going to whisk this around just to get that incorporated. And then we're going to add in 3 cups of milk. And I'm going to just gradually stir it in there. We're going to get it mixed up. Then we're going to take it over to our stove. And we're going to get it to a boil. We're going to put it on low or medium heat. We're going to get it to a boil. And we're going to boil it for 1 minute. Then we're going to add the rest of our ingredients in there. We got our chocolate, our butter, our vanilla. We got that all ready to go. We do have to separate some eggs. We are going to need 4 egg yolks. Okay, I think we got this all ready to go to the stove. All right, you guys, we are going to get our sugar, cornstarch, and milk mixture heating on our stove here. We've got to get it to where we can boil it for 1 minute. I'm going to go ahead and add in our teaspoon of vanilla. And then it calls for 2 squares of chocolate. Well, I made it out of cocoa and oil. Wound up being, I think, 2 ounces. So we're going to melt that all together. Actually, I'm going to get all my good chocolate off of the spoon and out of that bowl because we want it all incorporated in our pie. But we're going to stir this. It says continue to stir constantly because we don't want it sticking. We don't want anything burnt. But we want to get our chocolate out of our bowl here. Okay. So we're just going to get this chocolate melted in there. Make sure it doesn't stick on the bottom. When we get it to a boil, we're going to boil it for 1 minute. So this might take a little bit, you all, but we'll be back in just a little bit. Okay, you guys, we've reached that boil temperature. So we're going to set our timer for 1 minute. And we're going to let it boil. It's going to thicken up here. And then once it's boiled for 1 minute, we're going to separate our eggs. We need 4 egg yolks. We're going to beat them up really good. And we're going to mix in half of our hot mixture because you don't want to wind up with some scrambled eggs in your chocolate pie. So we're going to let that go for 1 minute. And oh my goodness, this has turned out so pretty. Our pie crust wasn't quite so hot, but man, our filling looks wonderful. But it'll all be good. I don't think anybody here at our house is going to complain once they get a piece of this homemade chocolate pie right here at the 412 Homestead. I hope if you guys are enjoying this video that you'll like this video, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, help us to grow our channel here at the 412 Homestead. We appreciate all that have subscribed so far and all the likes and helping us to grow, and we just appreciate you all. All right, we're going to kick off that heat. And next, we're going to separate our eggs. And we're going to put some of that hot mixture in. We're going to switch angles here for just a minute. We're going to get to those eggs. All right, you guys, we're going to separate those eggs. I need 4 egg yolks. I'm going to save those whites, but you want to get most of the whites out. Don't break your egg yolk. There's one. We'll save those whites for our meringue that we're going to make here after a while. All right, we're getting that last one cracked, separated. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to set our whites aside. We're just going to whip up these egg yolks here. Just give them a stir. And we're going to stir in about half, it says, of that hot mixture. You don't want to dump it in all at once, you all. You want to just gradually pour it in and mix it, because you do not want to have scrambled eggs. I'm going to give that a stir. All right, y'all. We're just going to gradually stir in our hot mixture. And what we're going to do, once we get about half this in there, we're going to return it into the pan, because we got to cook it for about another minute. I think we were successful. I don't see any eggs that looks like they're cooked and scrambled, so we're going to take this back over to our stove and we're going to boil this for another minute. All right, you guys, we're going to pour in our egg mixture back into our pan. We're going to give it a stir. We're going to turn that heat back on because we want to get that back to a boil for a minute. And then it's going to be ready to put into our pie shell. All right, we're going to crank our heat back up here. Now you'll want to watch this, continue to stir it because you don't want it burning. I'm going to rake down those sides, get all that goodness down in there. Now, just like I said, continue to stir to get that egg mixture incorporated into the rest of that chocolate pudding that didn't have egg in it. This will help us all to set up, hopefully, a good firm pie filling. I don't know. We'll see what we get. But it should be yummy. It's nice and creamy, silky, not lumpy. I know we'll enjoy a good piece of chocolate pie here after a while. But this just gives you an idea. Maybe it will inspire you to make your own chocolate pie. Now we're starting to boil, so I'm going to set my timer back for a minute. We're going to let it boil for one more minute, and then we're going to take it over and we're going to put it in our pie shell. Yes, you all, the Thanksgiving will be coming on, and You'll be wanting to bake more. I'm sure wanting to bake more. And y'all, I am not by any means a professional baker. I am just somebody that likes to eat good food. It's not all box cake mixes here on the 412 Homestead. I know that's probably what you all think, but you know, now that we're up and going, we got our water and our propane going, and I'm able to wash dishes over here whenever we cook. Man, it's fantastic, and I got so many things that I want to fix. I think our next video is going to be some homemade cinnamon rolls and maybe some homemade cocoa rolls that like my mom used to make. Those things are wonderful. Okay, you guys, we're going to cut that heat. We're going to turn off our timer, and we're going to take this over and we're going to pour it into our pre-baked homemade pie shell. Okay, you guys, we got that pie filling all cooked. We're getting ready to put it in our pre-baked homemade pie shell. Oh yeah. We want to get it all out of that pan. We don't want to leave any in there. Okay, you guys, don't that look beautiful? Doesn't that look beautiful? Now we're going to make some homemade meringue frosting, or whatever you want to call your, some people call it calf slaughter. But we're making some homemade meringue to go on top of it. Then we're going to stick it in the oven and brown it just a little bit, and then we're going to have that after a while for some dessert for supper. But look at that, you all. That is beautiful. We're going to let that set just a little bit. Then we're going to make that frosting. All right, you guys, we're going to make that homemade meringue icing, frosting, whatever you want to call it, homemade meringue. How about that? We got us we got 4 egg yolks that we've let come to room temperature. I'm not going to let that one waste it. The recipe called for 3, but we did 4 egg yolks, and we have 1/4 of a teaspoon of cream of tartar. Now we're gonna turn this on and let this mix until it is foamy, and then we're going to gradually add in our sugar. At the end, we're going to come back in and we're going to add our 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. But we're going to start off and get this to beaten. Okay, you guys, we got that beat up, and we should have us some nice stiff peaks here. Yeah, we got some thick meringue here. We want to make sure we get it all off of our beater. What we're going to do is we've got our oven heating because we're going to spread this on our pie, and we are going to hit it in the oven for just, oh, I don't know, it might take 5-10 minutes. We're going to brown it. That made a good bunch of meringue for our pie. We're going to get it all on there. I love meringue on a pie. I'm not really a whipped cream person. So we're just going to get all that out of our bowl. We're going to spread it on here. You don't want to leave anything behind. All right. Get all that goodness out of there, off of there. We're just going to take it all the way out to our crust. Man, that whipped up good, you guys. We want it to seal over our crust. Make sure we get it all covered over good, then we'll create a few peaks. I like seeing those peaks on a pie. And I'm not no pie professional, but we're just going to spread it all around and get it on there good. I don't even want to leave any on the knife, y'all. We're going to get that off there. Okay, we're going to slip that into our oven, and we're just going to brown that. We'll show you what we got here in just a few minutes. There it is, you all. We have a beautiful, beautiful chocolate pie, homemade from scratch, from the bottom of the pan all the way up to the top of that fluffy meringue we did. We did that homemade crust. We used oil in it. We did our homemade chocolate pie filling. Then we made us some of that good old meringue. I think we're going to let it cool here just a little bit. And then we're going to put it in the ice box, get it good and cold. We're going to slice that thing up here after a while. If I can remember, I may show you what it looks like, but more than likely, I'm going to be so excited to cut into this chocolate pie, I'm going to forget. But anyway, we thank you guys for stopping by the 412 Homestead. We appreciate you all. We hope you enjoyed this chocolate pie video that we just did for you. Maybe you got a few laughs out of the crust that we were having problems with, but that's okay. I don't think anybody's going to complain about it. But thank you guys for stopping by the 412 Homestead. I'm Susie. Until we see you guys again, God bless.